Welcome to Riga, Latvia, the birthplace of the Christmas tree. Check out yesterday's video to see Lithuania. And if you want my advice, unless you live there, there's no reason for anyone to go to Lithuania. So I arrived in Riga a few hours ago and we're going to be heading north every trip now, so it's going to be a little bit colder each time. If you're not interested in history and historic buildings, then I would say the Baltic countries, they're not for you because that's pretty much all they are. Like the main attraction in Riga, Latvia is the old town. This street is a perfect example. Like you can imagine this exact street like hundreds of years ago, some markets here, some stores, and you can just imagine what this place was like so many years ago. And this is a souvenir store. Look how cool it is. I'm gonna be a hypocrite here, but I do believe that tourists ruin a lot of places around the world, because as soon as one place becomes popular, and the reason it's popular is because it's beautiful, you know, so as soon as a place becomes popular, so many tourists go there, and then they bring in new rules, restrictions, whatever, and then it kind of ruins it, you know what I mean? So whenever you go somewhere new that's not your country, not your city even, you gotta respect it, you gotta respect the rules, and you gotta learn a little bit about the culture. It always makes me laugh. Just around the corner you have some buildings that are hundreds and hundreds of years old, and then you have a Burger King. It's so funny. Another thing I want to talk about today is English. Of course, I'm an English teacher, so whenever I meet someone and their first language is not English but they speak very good English, I'm always so impressed. And any small mistakes, it doesn't matter. And scared me. And every country that I've been to, people speak really good English. It's because they learn it from very, very young. Like young people, old people, everybody speaks English. If they didn't speak English, I wouldn't complain about it, but it is a bonus when someone can speak English. But do I think that people should speak the local language? No. When you visit somewhere, you don't need to. If you're gonna live somewhere, you definitely should. Just behind me is Riga bus station, train station, and the famous Riga Central Market. It's closed right now, so we're gonna see it tomorrow. But like I was saying, when you come to a new place, you need to learn a little bit about it. And the only way to do that is to go and see it. I'll be honest, I know nothing about Latvia. Nothing at all. I know their football team's not very good, that's all I know. Me personally, I would never go somewhere that has a reputation of being a dangerous place. It's not worth the risk. But a good way to stay safe is don't stand out. So don't walk around holding a camera. Another way to show respect is just follow the locals. So I've used the example before, is when you cross the street, and some countries, people just go when it's a red light, but other countries, people wait, so you just follow the locals. I will always be honest in my videos. That's the kind of person I am. I will never be negative for the sake of being negative. So for example, I want to let you know that there's some homeless people here. And the reason I'm letting you know is because Denmark and Sweden have zero, but Norway, Lithuania and Latvia have homeless people. To some people this might not be important information, but for some people it is. For me it is, because if there's homeless people in a place, that tells me that maybe it's not safe at night. Latvian National Opera. I can honestly say I've never ever watched an opera in my whole life, but every single Latvian person that I've spoke to so far has been so kind and friendly. So in the last 2 weeks, I've traveled to 5 countries so far. There's gonna be more, but 5 so far. And I've been so lucky with the weather, because this trip would be completely different if it was so cold and rainy and snowy. And that's the kind of weather these places have during the winter. I don't like the cold at all. I've been to some very cold places, but for me to go to a cold place, it better be a special place. I talk to my brother about this all the time, but all of these people are just going through their daily life, just finishing work, going home, getting dinner. They come down this street every single day, and this is the one time in my whole life that I choose to come here. The Monument of Freedom here in Riga. Let me tell you some fun facts. Independence Day in Latvia is November the 18th, and that thing was built to celebrate Latvia's independence. I'm the only one here. But let me give you 2 more tips for traveling related to English. Number 1, don't expect everybody to speak English. And number 2, expect everybody to speak English. I know that sounds crazy, but let me explain. So number 1, Don't expect everybody to speak English. If you go to a place and they don't speak English, it's not their fault. You know, you're in a foreign country, it's not their native language. You just got to make it work. And number two, expect everybody to speak English. Don't sit somewhere and start saying bad things about the country or about the people, because the person next to you most probably understands you, and it's happened before. And another thing about culture, I've lived on 3 different continents in very different countries, and there's nothing wrong with culture. Culture is just different. It's not bad. I'm a very open-minded person and I'm very adaptable. I think that's helped me travel so much. And if you're not, then maybe traveling is not for you, because you need to be accepting of other cultures when you go to a different country. That is Serbia versus Latvia 3-on-3 basketball. No idea what's going on. But anyway, so of course I'm British. I love being British. I love England so much. And I think London is the best city in the world. But I dislike it when people go to another country and they say stuff is weird. Like culture is weird or this is weird. Nothing is weird. It's just different from yours. And another thing you should know when you visit Europe is public bathrooms are not free in probably every country in Europe. I know most of them anyway, and I know that's a very different story from Asia because they are free. I definitely believe that travel broadens the mind. I'm very, very lucky that I get to visit so many different places and countries. I need to recount, but I think I've been to over 60 countries now, and I'm going for 100. I'm gonna get 100 one day, but every single time I go to a new place, you have to be open-minded. You do have to do research, of course. I don't go to any place blind. Of course I know some things about the place. So when I say I know nothing about a place, of course I do. But yeah, it's really up to you how much you research, because there's been some places where I don't want to know, you know, I just want to go there and explore for myself and see what I find. But there's other places where you need to do certain things to experience the whole place. I'm sure something that you've noticed is I travel alone, and sometimes I absolutely love it. I just get up and go, but sometimes I get lonely. So if you're planning a trip and you're going on your own, you have to expect to be lonely, I think, because there are ways to meet people. If you're planning a trip alone or with other people, you need to understand what you're getting yourself into, because I've traveled with people and it's so difficult to make a decision. I want to go there, but we have time to do this, whatever. But when I'm on my own, I just get up and do whatever I want. A lot of people hate the idea of traveling alone. A lot of people are actually afraid of it. And that's okay. Like, I'm not one of these people where you need to travel by yourself, you need to go to the movies by yourself, you need to eat dinner by yourself. No, if you don't want to, then don't do it. But I do believe that it gives you something for yourself if you do travel alone. I do think you should be brave. Be brave, go out there and travel, even if it's by yourself, go for a few days, do something. Because it stops a lot of people doing stuff, you know, oh, I don't have anyone to go with, so I'm not gonna go, and then you miss out. But if you do travel by yourself, you need to let someone know where you are. So for example, every single time I get to a new place, I tell my mom, my dad, or my grandparents, hey, I just got to Latvia, just so they know. And the reason I do that is just in case something happens. So for example, this morning, I was in Vilnius, Lithuania. So for example, if something pops up on the news right now, there's something major going on in Lithuania, they know I'm not there, so they know I'm safe. I forgot my sunglasses, but another thing, you need to take pictures. You don't need to become a YouTuber, you don't need to make videos, but you need to have memories in video or pictures. You need to, because everybody knows these people that hate taking pictures. I think I used to be one of them. Whenever I would travel to a new place, I would take one picture just to show that I was there and just to remember something, but take pictures and videos. I think this is a Valdemara Bridge. Another underrated travel hack that nobody talks about is, you know that few hours where you need to check out of your hotel and you can't check into your next hotel? Well, that's the time you should be traveling. So every single time that I've went to a new country, I've traveled between like 10 and 2, because that's the time you can't be in any hotel. You can't be in the first one, you can't be in the second one. So if you leave your hotel, by the time you get to the next city, you can already check in. I feel like I didn't explain that very well, but if you check out of a hotel at 11 and you can't check into your next hotel until 2, you have 3 hours. Use this time for travel. The next tip is help each other. Every time you stay in a hotel, you go to a restaurant, or you fly with a certain airline, leave a review. because that's how I make reservations. And I know a lot of people, they read the reviews to help them choose where to stay, who to fly with, where to eat. So anywhere you go, leave a review. Honest review, don't lie. One of the biggest tips I can give you is human beings, we're designed to be outside of our comfort zone. That's how you grow as a person. That's how you get experience. So just go for it. If you're not sure about a place, do some research. And if it seems dangerous, don't do it. If you're nervous about traveling by yourself, it's gonna be okay. As long as you're careful, as long as you don't put yourself in bad situations, and as long as you do your research. I would never, ever, ever go to a place known for being dangerous. What's the point? It's not worth the risk. Money is one of the biggest reasons why people don't travel. And there's definitely ways to travel cheaply. If you are interested, I can make a whole video about that, because it's important. Some of these places are very, very expensive. It's very important that you have enough money to get home from wherever you are. So I know at any time, any second, I have enough money to get home. And it's so important to know that, because if you find yourself in trouble or if there's an emergency, you don't want to struggle to get home. If you do want to find someone to travel with, you can definitely do that when you're in a place. But there are so many websites and chat rooms and forums that you can find people to travel with. But like I said, sometimes I love being by myself and sometimes I don't. It just depends on my mood. I travel full time now. I do YouTube. This is my job. This is how I make money. But I started out having jobs that let me travel. That's how I traveled to so many different countries, because I had no money and I wanted to travel. So another option is you can get a job that lets you travel. I would say around a quarter of the countries that I've been to, I was paid to be there because I was working. Also, I always travel with my bag. My passport always stays with me. My hotel room has a safe, but I still have my passport, my money, everything, so I can get home. Let's say right now my hotel burns down. I have everything I need right here to get home, no problem. Definitely keep all your valuables with you, because you never know when you're gonna hear, "Attention, a pickpocket." I don't even skateboard and I wanna ride a skateboard down that thing. It's a biblioteca, library. Just coming back to Riga Old Town now. Not too much going on that side of the bridge. I'm pretty sure that every country I've been to has those electric scooters for rent, but if you saw the Sweden videos, I'm not gonna get one. Cello sounds so good. That guy's so talented. But the problem is, you got to carry a big, huge cello around. Day one in Riga, Latvia is going to end right here. I hope you enjoyed this a little bit different video, but hit the like, hit the subscribe, because tomorrow we have a whole day in Riga. So see you tomorrow. Bye bye. If you have any questions about traveling or anything I talked about in the video, then definitely send me a message on Instagram. I reply to every single message. You can definitely see the old town separated from the new stuff. So the old town is like a square, and then just over there, the new stuff begins.